Before we begin, a little warning. The ship in question for this review is acquired through in-game gambling mechanics. There is no 100% certainty that you will acquire the ship while partaking in said gambling. It is possible to acquire this ship via the exchange, though it is quite expensive and difficult to find. If you feel you have a gambling problem, I would recommend seeking assistance before we continue. With that being said, greetings and welcome to the Star Trek Online Starship Stats Review. Can I please give a massive thank you to Negus, Dante Demonic, Skyhawking's Tribal Typhoon, XG Blackbird, Travis Games, Spike and Captain Rig for their incredible generosity and support of the channel, which has made this review possible. There are some things I wish to talk about before we begin talking about the stats. So, with that being said, first of all, allow me to introduce you to the USS Do I Look Right? For those that don't know, and Ambassador Kale, I'm sorry, you disappoint me. You could have had so much fun with this. But unfortunately, the Star Trek Online Corps of Engineers were not given the correct schematics for the external hull structure of the Sagan class upon construction. As such, at the point of rolling out the ship, she unfortunately had the wrong external body. Luckily, the Corps of Engineers were given the correct parameters for the ship's primary superstructure. As such, at least she was functioning correctly. Starfleet Corps of Engineers have quickly addressed this and the issue has been resolved. As you can see, though I guess I'm using the Galaxy hull. No, let me properly introduce you to the Stargazer from Star Trek Picard. The Sagan class. The shagging class. I mean, what? Okay, probably a bad joke to make, but I'm rude. This is the kind of joke I make. Can I just say, welcome, members of the Federation, members of the Klingon Empire, members of the Romulan Republic, and those esteemed guests from the Dominion, as we address this ship. Before stats, we have to address the acquiring costs, because this is going to have a big overwhelming factor on how I review this ship. Secondly, I want to bring up, well actually I'll bring it up first, the specifications of this ship. Technically, well, it does well, and its problems in its price bracket. So first of all, cheaper than this ship to acquire and far easier to acquire, there are some Xen-Star ships that will outclass this ship in areas that it does well. You see, this ship excels in two primary areas. These are not the only two areas it's good at, it's just where it excels. Kinetic DPS builds and tanking. Here's the problem. I can give you some superior tanks really easily. And cheaper. How about we say the Excelsior, or the Legendary Excelsior if you want to use the more expensive ones to be a bit more fair. How about the Fleet Baran, my present flagship, which could be swapped with this ship if the vote video goes the way I think it might. That is a very cheap ship, funny enough to say. Or we can go on the torping side of things. How about the new Lexington? Or the Covert? Oh, okay, the Covert's not fair, that's an escort. But the Lexington is a cruiser. In fact, the flagship Star Cruisers are better tanks. The Miracle Worker vessels are vastly better tanks. this is going to be a problem for this ship. The things it does really well, it kind of has another ship overshadowing it. It's just not really fair on the ship. However, it then is overshadowed further by the fact that it is gained via gambling mechanics. It's very expensive. If I was honest about the amount I spent trying to get a hold of this ship, you'd know why in this testing I called the ship Nemesis number 2. It actually cost me more to get this ship than it cost me to get the Disco Connie, which to this point in the game is still my most powerful ship for the way I fly. Now, I did acquire this ship eventually through the exchange, albeit I was checking the exchange every 30 minutes in every bit of free time I had. You can imagine how stressful that was. It only popped up twice. The first time it popped up, I just didn't have enough EC at the time. And I'm not going to lie, it sold within seconds of me seeing it in there. So I dread to think how many have been in there. The second time it popped up for me, I was luckily refreshing at the time. It was there. I clicked on it. I got it. I'm sorry to anyone else that tried to click at that time and didn't get it because it had already sold. I apologise for stealing this ship from you. It's a good ship. I hope you acquire it. The simple matter is it's going to be overshadowed by its price. And the fact there are very cheap ships that can outperform it. However, these are her stats. And I want to make it abundantly clear, do not underestimate this ship. There's a reason why I'm willing to have the ship that, for me, Space Barbie wise, is actually more beautiful than this ship. And for me, is the best looking ship in the game, rivaled only by the Gargaran class. This ship, at level 65, has 58,500 hull. So yes, she does not have as much hull as the Baran. But her hull modifier is 1.3 and her shield modifier is 1.2. These may not be the best, but they are good. Her impulse modifier is 15 with a turn rate of 8, inertia rating of 45. She has bonus power settings of +5 to all power levels with 4 forward and 4 aft weapons. She can equip dual cannons. She has 4 device slots. She comes with the full cruiser specialty array, so the ability to use weapon subsystem efficiency, shield frequency modulation, strategic maneuvering, attract fire. She is a complete command ship, giving her inspirational abilities. For those that don't know, inspirational abilities are probably the best thing you can have when it comes to really going out there for DPS potential. Though I will admit there are some that give it some rivalry. Temporal. The ship scales up better as she has the Starship Mastery package for the cruiser, allowing her to have absorptive hull plating, rapid repairs, enhanced hull plating and armoured hull. These all boosting towards her ability to endure and survive. Now, Preemptive Warning. Before I mention console and bridge officers, which is the defining strength for this ship, I want to quickly start on what may be a bug. Don't know if it's intentional, but when we get onto her console, we'll have to adjust for, well, the fact that she essentially has a console that we have seen before with Klingon ships, where the shield goes up, but you can't fire through the shield it creates. Unfortunately, this has led to it being basically an obsolete console, since there is a prior ship, also known for me as the Elephant Face, or Flying Dumbo, which has a vastly superior version of the console, with essentially the same passives. The console is something I am going to modestly be nice towards, but that's a preemptive warning I must state now. Okay, so overall stats wise, we've seen average stats for this ship, and let's be fair, they are average. So the make it or break it is the consoles and the bridge officers. Well, she has 3 tactical, 4 engineering and 4 science. X upgrade, of course you gain the 1 universal. I don't see why you wouldn't X upgrade her. If you get this ship, she's a powerful ship, and okay, when I was testing her, I was stupid enough to say, I mean, she's got the right elements to budget build a really good science DPS vessel with her, but do you understand the oxymoron in me daring to say that? Yes, let's budget build with this ship. Let's be frank, if you're getting this ship, you're never going to be budget building, are you? So, I'm only going to think of this ship at the absolute peak of expense, because to acquire this ship you are already in the expensive building side of things. I don't like that, but it's a fact. With 344 for its console layouts, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It gives her potential in tanking, potential support, in fact plenty of potential support. Then again, consoles don't matter so much when you're doing clicky EPG. And then again, tactical wise, as long as you've X upgraded her, you've got 4 tactical consoles going there. That's quite strong. Though I guess maybe you're putting Lorca fire control somewhere else then. I don't think you can, because I'm pretty sure Lorca's console is tactical only, and that's going to be an issue, in my opinion. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. Now, bridge officers. The bridge officer seats is where initially when I thought to myself, hang on, my current flagship is better than this ship in essentially all the same roles. And then I realised the bridge officers broke that. Big. You see, from lowest rank to highest, we have a universal ensign, a lieutenant science. Then we get into where this ship becomes an Oncom proc, unconventional systems proc beast, and well, is what really gives this ship some DPS power. She has a lieutenant commander tactical and a lieutenant commander universal. This universal also has temporal specialization. She then finally has a commander engineering as expected, but that one comes with a command specialization. What this overall does for the ship is give her very good DPS potential, extremely good tanking potential, and, well, extremely good EPG or science DPS build potential. This ship actually is quite the all-rounder ship. Although I would normally hand that more to miracle workers, this ship is doing it really well. To top it off, I would say that combined command and temporal is in such a good form that I think this is really going to lend it some hand with being an even more powerful kinetic build, though I would have to ask the specialists if they would agree with me on that one, because as I will hands up here, I'm not that good at kinetic building. I'm more of a beamboat type, so I'm saying that only on what I have been taught in the past. But overall, I expect to see this ship performing well. So, the scores that I will grant this ship, well, science rolling, I will give her an effective 4 out of 5. In the role of tank, I will give her 5 out of 5. She gets that rank. And in the ranks of DPS, although she's not so great in the energy side of things, she's very good at kinetics, so I'm going to give her 4.5 out of 5. The only thing keeping her shy short is the fact that, yes, she's a little bit shy in the other areas. That console isn't helping her, nor is the, well, actually I take it back. I was about to say nor are the exact bridge officers, but actually they're quite good for DPS, so I'll give her that. She's 4 out of 5 for DPS. Am I being a bit too generous? Am I playing favourites? Probably. I really do like this ship. I'm a Stargazer fan. I'm a fan of Captain Picard. So let's go on to the bit now where I'm going to be negative on her. I'm sorry, but it has to be done. This bit is going to be a negative. Right, so the first thing I want to talk about is her console. And there's no really great way to show this, so what I'm actually going to do is I've equipped a bit to her. Just swapped a few things out from the actual build I was using. This is the console that I'm talking about, that is actually going to be better. Let me demonstrate. So here's our enemies in front. Great. Yeah, we're just gonna blast our way through them. They're not gonna be much of a match for us. Just wiping our way through. Don't mind me, we blast them to pieces. Easily done, and we just fly on to the next target. There you go. Gallo class. Okay, maybe this one could deal some Look, use your imagination with me, okay? This ship is going to deal a huge amount of damage, so I want to be nice and defensive. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to create a shield. I'm going to make sure he can't attack me while I attack it. Okay, shield goes up. Blast it. What's going on? Can't blast it. Can't fly through the shield. Of course. And, you can't blast through it. So you have to get around the shield and then you can start attacking. Great. So your allies behind the shield can't fight either, that would be assumably. How is that a good thing? Unless it's only you can't fly through it, but your allies can fly through it, that would be fine. The other big problem with it is the ship in question. You see, the shield they're talking about, the shield you're making there, isn't led by the Stargazer. Well, it is kind of, but it also isn't. And I would have said that if they were going to introduce the Borg Star, with, you know, the ship that Jurati has control of, the new Borg Queen from Picard, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it, sorry, that ship should have had this console, because that ship is the one that engineered it happening. This ship is the first ship to use technology taken from the artifact, new Borg technology to be integrated with Federation design. I would have preferred it to be showing signs of Borg technology, like a console that allows it to rapidly adapt, or a console that allows it to rapidly increase its damage resistance while also increasing its damage output or damage penetration. Firing cycle haste. Say every time you get hit, your firing cycle haste is boosted by a percentage of the incoming damage. So you take a certain amount of damage, you get a certain percentage of extra firing cycle haste. That would have been great. That would have worked really well for this ship. But no, they went with this shield front. A shield front that doesn't work very well because you can't fire through it. It's quite possibly your allies can't fire through it, and anyone who is in the same price bracket of this ship anyway, so a big spender for the game, that probably has this ship as well, is then going to be doing, well, laughing at you. They're going to be laughing at you in this. You see the issue? I'm still mobile, nicely. I am slowed down quite heavily, but I'm still got a decent amount of mobility, and I'm now defending everyone in the grid with me. I think if I was going into the Kobayashi Maru, I would like to see more people flying that than flying that. So this console is immediately on a downfall. Let's not ignore though that it has some effective uses, but I'll show you what I'm comparing it against first. I'm comparing it against a console that, yeah, it disables, it majorly reduces your speed and turn rate, fine, but it creates a massive center sphere that protects everyone within it. Your default shield bleed through is set to 0, your shield hardness is at, you gain 50% of your shield hardness, shields are being rapidly restored, it automatically redistributes shields while you're in it. Yeah, your maneuverability is down, but it's giving you the exact thing you want. Defense for you and all of your allies, with a +5 to your maximum shield power and a +12.5 to your maximum shield capacity. It's doing its job, right? This is an excellent console for those who are, well, tank supports or a tank themselves. It's great, as opposed to what we get with the Sagan class. I didn't mean to do that. The Sagan class, sorry, the Sagan class, where you get +50.5 to both your Starship shield hardness and your Starship shield regeneration, which are fine, except only the hardness there is actually reasonable. The shield regeneration is too easy to achieve, actually achieve better if you are a shield tank. And that also makes this passive effect only useful to shield tanks. Fine, I know there's plenty of players that are really good at being shield tanks. I respect you for that, because it does take a special degree of skill to formulate those ships, and there's no such thing as a cheap shield tank. But then the active ability to create the scaling shield barrier, it sounds great, creates a harmonized shield barrier for 1 kilometer ahead of your ship for 45 seconds. The harmonized shield barrier starts at 2 kilometers radius and expands by 0.5 kilometers every 5 seconds for a maximum of 4 kilometers per allied ship behind the shield itself within 5 kilometers of it. So in other words, to get the actual power out of this, you need allies to stay with you. They can't choose to be in your field of effect, they actually have to be with you. Bearing in mind what I pointed out before, that you can't fire through this shield. The effects of the shield is the barrier radius, foes in front of this shield are taunted, so they are going to be forced towards you. Allies behind the shield gain an increased damage resistance, but they can't fire on the enemy, most likely. And as I said, unless it only applies to you, that you can't fire through the shield, but all your allies can. The problem is, we've seen this problem before. Hell, Oggy from Augment Dictator Games, if you haven't checked him out, do it. He brought up some consoles that seriously need changing or adjust, and one of the consoles he brought up was the console you get with the Klingons that does the exact same problem. Creates a barrier in front of you, albeit nowhere near as good as this, and you can't fire through it. I believe it was Oggy that brought that one up. It annoys me to see a new version of this console. It's blue instead of orange, and it self-defeats its point. The idea of being a tank and the idea of protecting your allies is that you are protecting your allies while they fight. They should be able to continue fighting. You should be able to continue fighting and generating threat, because if you're a tank using this, you want to be generating more threat. The console is self-defeating, which is why I say, if you're going to use one, you want the mobile defense net, not the harmonic shield barrier. Unfortunately, Cryptic, nice try, but this gets 0 out of 5. It is utterly self-defeated in my opinion. Now, something that's not. Back to positives. I can't say that, so someone tell me how you say it. Reverberant shielding, feedback pulse and reverse shield polarity trigger each other at the same level. This is the poignant fact. Now, this is not going to be a trait for everyone, so obviously that's going to bring this trait down a bit, but it is still a good trait. Activating any rank of feedback pulse or any rank of reverse shield polarity will grant the other effect at the same rank. So if you activate feedback pulse, you'll also get reverse shield polarity at the same rank. Now, hold fire a second. I probably don't have people with these. Engineer. Right. Hello, where is it? I know it's in it somewhere. There you go, reverse shield polarity. What does that do? When taking energy damage to any shields facing, heal 50% of that damage to the facing shields for 12 seconds. So what you'd be using as a shield tank. Yes. Feedback pulse. Hello Marshall Janeway, you're going to help me out here. Where you gone? Come on, I love feedback pulse. There it is. Reflects up to 19, well, reflects up to set percentage, depending on the rank you're using of it, of incoming energy damage back to the target for 15 seconds, with a 50% shield penetration. Hey, great form of exotic damage, so to speak. Can you see how that is good in combination? It's quite good. You see, for support builds, this is really good because feedback pulse is actually a useful support ability. So using this trait would be reasonable. Although not 100%, it depends on what you want to slot out for it. If you are a shield tank, it is extremely good for you. It allows you to create even greater level of threat because feedback pulse does cause threat generation, while simultaneously healing your primary form of tanking, your shields. Whole tanks, you will also be able to make use of it, but only because it just means your shields are giving you a little bit extra defense. But let's be fair, most of the times your shields are down and your hull is what's doing all the work. It's still going to help the whole tanks, so tanks, you get some support. DPS, now obviously not really there for tactical DPS, but for your side DPS and that side of things, this is still a reasonable thing. You may be using feedback pulse. It's not really, from what I've heard, it's not very heavily in the meta anymore, but I'm quite a fan of feedback pulse within my side DPS builds. It does have a decent effect, and just having that little bit of extra defense given while you're using it may be reasonable. The only problem with it is that with side DPS, you really don't want to drop out any of these standard traits you would be using for that. Honestly, I can't think of a trait. I want to think of a trait that feasibly could be dropped for this one, but when it comes to side DPS, I actually feel like most of those standard traits you use at the moment, well, the 6 that are coming to my mind, are better than this one. Just overall speaking. And with that, unfortunately, this trait only gets 3 out of 5 from me. It scores as well as it does because it is an effectively good trait for the ship it's coming with, keeping that in mind. The only problem is it's only useful to 2 styles of build, and it's not really 100% useful to both of those styles completely. I probably should be ranking it lower, but then again, bias might be coming in. Okay, so that's the fundamental things aside. Now, before I go any further, I do want to show you some customization of this ship. There's not a lot, but it's at least worth looking at. Okay, I'll acknowledge it right now as well while I'm at it. I will not be using the console of this ship any more than what you have seen. I'll show you in action, but that will be its limit. Now, hello to its standard look. Let's be fair, she looks good. She looks really good. I love the look of this ship. If it wasn't for the fact that something about me really loves throwing the 7A on this ship. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys, I really do like the way that looks. Throw Galaxy on her. Looks just as good. Sovereign. It's a pity to see we didn't have all the variants here. We've got Cherry Bassards, we've got a Cherry Bassard. Hello, Intrepid. Hello, NX Refit. Looks quite good too. It's interesting that the NX Refit looks so close to the Sagan. Awkward. And of course, you could always throw on Type 8B, which gives you this look. Intriguing enough. Nicely similar, isn't it not? Nicely similar, and of course that leads to one of my favourite things, you know. It's going to be the running joke for me, isn't it? Because sometimes you need to hit something extra funny. So here, may I introduce you to, where is it gone? Iron Star. You may not be able to kit bash or change the looks of it, which I am disappointed on. Cryptic, if I were you, please consider putting this ship with the heavy cruiser line. For those that don't know, the heavy cruiser line is actually the original Stargazer line of ships for this. So the Constellation class is in that one, the Stargazer class is in that one. I'm trying to think of the other names of the ships that are in that one, but you could put this ship into that line really easily, and I would love to see it. Hell, you can even, if you really want to, Cryptic, because I'd pay for it. You could introduce a legendary version of this ship, and when you do that, what you do is you give it your spin of it. Maybe get E.C. Henry to come in and do a bit of a spin on this ship, like you've had him do with other ships that look absolutely amazing. And we can have another really nice ship. Yeah, maybe. I shouldn't be willing to spend all this money, but I flipping would. Come on, pull it in the, just Cryptic, put this ship in the heavy cruiser bracket with the rest of them. Let's do some kit bashing across, because you've proven this sort of design style can be put in. I mean, just look what you've done with the Miranda line. I just think it would be worthy to do. Please. Okay. Enough. Let me show you what this ship can do. Really do. So let me keep this simple. If you get the reference to this, we are definitely friends. This is the ISS Starbreaker. Yes, it is a reference, and not just a Judas Priest. Let's do it. We're going to go and wreck some ships. Right, first of all, swap mode. Everything else should be fine. Hang on, I need to rebalance. Drop that completely. And then I want to raise weapon power up just a little bit. You should still be... Ooh. Yeah. Oh, you... Up, there we go. Oopsie daisy. God, you're making this awkward for me. Stop! Right, rebalance. Note to self, learn to save these. Right. Let you go up just a little bit. That should have you at 74. Lock you up just a tad. Are you all... Yeah, that'll do me fine. I didn't mean to do that. I'm a fucking idiot. Right, let's just use it in this setup. You really want to fight me? Come on then. Let's see if we can do this. Gonna rip you all a new one. God, I love using these abilities. And as far as uncon procs go, I'm kind of wishing I used this temporal ability more. I did have to reset myself up a little bit. It is better to use this one versus gravity well. Oh my word. My switch to this from pulse. I was using pulse phases not being this effective. Holy woly, this ship is actually performing even better now. And all I did was swap the weapons out. Well, and change one console. Oh, that I've just realised. Oh no, it's there. It's just not where I meant it to be. Dink. Right, okay. Okay, you guys want to fight? Come on then. Fight me! I will blast you into the nether realm. I'm holding back against you guys because I do not need to fight any harder than this. Oh wow, I've actually weakened my shields a considerable amount. Do. Wipe these guys out. Here we go. I'm taking more damage than I was planning on doing here. Coming round for you again. Wipe you out. Wipe you out. Okay. Cheeky burgers. Did more damage than it should have done. Thank you, but you're still under arrest. Ah, I love it. Right, now we're going to have our fun. Now we are going to have our fun, but I'm going to have to get my shields up pretty... It's interesting to see the big effectiveness that console was actually having on my survivability. Quite sizable, actually. Oh my god, no, this is not going to be good for me. Not these guys, not these guys. Right, let's just sit still and go nuts. Getting all my crits off, let's go crazy and let me fire all these away. Come on, come on, come on. Yep, bring that PayDAS down, because I want to go a little bit crazier. Come on. Get the firing going mad. Wait, where do you think you're going? Damn it. Get back here, you burger. Daring to escape me. Let me start blasting these guys with actually some more hatred. Really should learn to use these more. Oh, did I not trigger that when I meant to? That's not good. Well, I do stupider things. Get over here, you burger. You're gonna die now. Get that off again. Get you off again while I'm at it. Oh, I know I forgot. Yeah, I know what I forgot. Being a complete blithering idiot, of course. Of course I forgot it. Firing torps! My torps aren't firing. Why aren't they firing? Oh, dearie me. That's never good when you have that happen. Let's get some more damage output. Get that up again. Yes. It's always nice to have that up. Hey guys, do you want to actually sit here with me and get blown to pieces? Thank you. Fuck. You little fuckers. Come on then. Come on then. Talk. Get me firing my talk self. I'm not doing very well here at all. Shit. I've actually really done badly. That was nowhere near the display that I should have been putting forward. I am so disappointed in myself. It would probably be better if I showed my test of the ship. That went so badly. Oh, I'm sorry guys. I was paying... I don't know, it's just because I'm too tired or not, but I wasn't paying attention enough. Multiple times I didn't trigger things that I wasn't meant to be triggering. You fucking trigger when I hit you! Yeah. Always a problem when you have misfiring. I'm actually understanding what a couple of YouTubers I've heard mention misfiring, and I'm really starting to understand where they come from with it. That annoyed me. Quite considerably, actually. Well, you can only do that once every few minutes, though. Okay, so I want to try and keep this simple. She's a good ship, and contrary to what I just displayed, well, I'm gonna be fair to her. She's a lot better than what I just displayed. Hell, in some of my runs for tests and what I've seen other people get out of her, you can easily get some good charting DPS scores with her, and she does amazing as a tank. From what I've been able to test of her support wise, she's excellent for you support players. I just wish I could say I recommend her to everyone, but unfortunately her pricing makes that impossible to do, in my opinion, or in pricing and difficulty of getting her. See, to me, she appeals mainly to two categories of players. Those who love Space Barbie, and those who are, well, fans of Star Trek Picard and this ship in general. Beyond that, well, I can't say she's going to appeal to big spenders, because although the big spenders are spending big, you have to be a proper whale to want to get this ship among all the others, because she's not the best in the lot. Albeit she's a really good one out of the lot, but she's not the best. I don't know if you can consider me a whale, but yeah, obviously I've picked her up and I spent a lot to get her. I spend a lot in the game. Doesn't mean I recommend doing the same things I did to try and get a hold of her. Go cheap, guys. Get enough EC. Try and pick her up in exchange when she pops up there. Here's the players I recommend her to. Obviously, DPS players, I'm going to recommend her to you because she's actually quite a good DPS ship. And if you want a really good talk boat, she's great. And I'm going to recommend her to tanks. Because tank players, although yes, we've got ships like the Styx out there in the sort of same price range, this ship is really damn good when it comes down to it, and she more than performs adequately in my opinion. I love her performance, I love her as a ship. It's just all this comes with a caveat that I only recommend her to you if you are a big spender and don't mind forking out the money, because she's going to cost you to get her, and that's the painful truth. Unless you're exceptionally lucky, or unless we get if we get the event next year, and this ship is acquirable doing the year-long event again next year, then maybe at the end of next year, go grab her, because maybe then she's definitely going to be worthwhile picking up. I'll be honest. My scores for her are this. Well, visual is for visual review, so as a ship, well, the overall score is 3.5 out of 5. I know people were probably expecting her to be higher. I have to set my biases aside. I love her. Visually speaking, I love her. It's half what's giving her a bit of a benefit. Visual is for visual review. It's not the score right now. Literally just focusing on her potential, her properties, and acquiring her, what you get with her when you acquire her. I can't justify scoring her above 3.5. Yeah, she's a hero ship, but her stats... There's just too many better options in either the same price bracket or cheaper. Now, be it, there's not as many better options in the cheaper section, but literally, I can think of low-B ships, I can think of lockbox ships, and I can name a few promos. You know exactly which ships I'm thinking about. Hell, I mentioned one of them, Nemesis Mark 1. That does what this ship does better. And that's the problem. She's too expensive. Sorry, Cryptic. She just is. You need to increase that drop rate, double it, and maybe we can start justifying it. But right now, yeah. 3.5 out of 5 is the best I'm going to give her. She's above the halfway mark, she's above average. It's just... unfortunate she's not more accessible. Hopefully we'll get a legendary variant of her that will be then fully justifiable and will be account-wide unlocked. So that will more than beat the justification of it. Maybe we'll have it set up so that it comes. The legendary will come with a lance, and yeah, it'll be a Terran variant. We'll get the ISS Starbreaker, and we'll have the Terran variant with a lance and 5 free weapon layouts and all that nice shenanigans. Maybe it should be less tanky but better, more offensive. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But hey, right now, solid. I do like this ship. I do highly appreciate this ship, and I hope you guys like her too. So until next time, thank you for watching. I look forward to reading your comments below to hear what you think about her. Again, a massive thank you and credit to the people on screen who helped to make this video possible with their generosity. And if you want to help out the channel, please check out the links below. But there's no need to. It's just there if you want to help. Till next time, thank you for watching. Live long and prosper. Ciao for now.